How are you?
Good, man. How are you? I
Oh,
like your
I'm
hair.
brilliant. I'm mushroom head.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? Is mushroom head?
Yeah, mushroom head.
Okay.
I
All right.
uh, I I remember seeing them from the very first time they came on the scene. So I've been a big fan of them ever since.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
anyway, let's talk about you.
Yes, talk about
Um,
me. I'm an
growing up,
artist.
what? Growing up, what music influenced you, and what did you like go out buying vinyl wise, and what influenced you?
You mean as a kid, like when I was like, a
Yeah,
teenager?
yeah,
Well, I had a next door neighbor who was very motivated by listening to lots of different music. I have to give him a lot of in the last, well, could be 20 years now at this point. His name was David Avila, and he was my next door neighbor. It was funny because he was actually my best friend, and he lived in another part of the area. And then next thing I know, he tells me I'm moving, and I said, "Oh man, that sucks. Where are you moving to?" And he goes, "I'm moving right next door to you." I said, "What?" And because we were already best friends, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm moving right next door to you, literally." And I was like, "Awesome!" So he ended up moving next door to me, and he was somebody that, just like I said, wanted to discover a lot of bands. He discovered Queen. He discovered Thin Lizzy. Um, you know, Unusual bands like Angel, Headies. These are 70s bands that
yeah,
became had a lot of impact on me as the years went by. Um, and so I think he was the motivating force to really get me into music, and our peer group, which included Joey and Gonzo and several other people. So I think that was the key thing. We liked a lot of hard rock in the 70s, and we also liked a lot of pop music, believe it or not. A lot of those things crossed over
yeah,
anyway. So, like Sweet was a great band. They had Desolation Boulevard is like one of my favorite records still
yeah,
to this day. And I had some heavy tracks on it, like No You Don't, Set Me Free. But then they also had like Ballroom Blitz, which was like a
yeah,
top 40 song. So, and Queen, of course, the same. Many bands like that. So I think that was it. That was what we were really inspired by at that point musically, and that kind of led to the next phase, which was like the new wave of British heavy
yeah,
metal, and discovering Priest and Iron Maiden and Motorhead, and on and on and on. So we were pretty adventurous people, our group, as far as listening and discovering a lot of cool new bands. As a matter of fact, I saw Kiss at Anaheim. The first show I ever went to was at Anaheim
yeah,
Stadium. Kiss, Ted Nugent, I think Bob Seger and Montrose. And I was 12 years old, and it was at Anaheim Stadium where the California Angels baseball
yeah,
team plays. Lots of concerts were there. And it was 50,000 people there. You could still Google,
yeah,
YouTube Kiss Anaheim Stadium. That's like a famous
yeah.
show. And I was there, and I was scared. I was like, what am I doing here? It's just like, this is overwhelming, but I still loved it.
Yeah. I'm a massive Kiss fan, so um, the Anaheim concert is legendary. I think it's 1977,
It was 76 actually, and it
76. Yeah,
was
it's roughly about
yeah,
that time.
76. Yeah, it was the summer of
Yeah,
76, because then the next show I went to, I think, was Queen, which was in 77, like in the
yeah,
fall, I believe. And that was Queen and Thin Lizzy at the Forum, and that was another amazing gig.
yeah,
Like, I wish I actually could go to that gig now, knowing everything I know. But Kisses was at Destroyer tour. I mean,
yeah.
forget about
I saw it's on the verge of 76. Well, it's 76, and it they would go where I think they played it again in 77, because I think the old Phantom of the Park was all around Anaheim.
Well, kind of, then we went to see Kiss at the Forum when they recorded a live too, or they say they recorded a live too, of
Yeah,
course. A lot of that was probably recorded in the studio.
yeah,
But I was at that show too. And that was like, I think it was Love Gun Tour. And that tour Cheap Trick opened, which was on like In Color and Black and White tour, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, you know, incredible stuff. You know, that was an amazing record. Cheap
Yeah.
Trick, you know, those first couple Cheap Trick records are amazing. So I saw a lot of great bands when I was a kid, you know, that I was very fortunate to see. And yeah.
Going back to Sweet, I interviewed Andy not so long back, and the Desolation Boulevard, they had redone it with the new vocalist and all that, and it's
Wow.
amazing.
It was what?
They read
Was it good?
Oh, it's brilliant, absolutely
Really?
brilliant.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I might have a problem with that just because I'm a purist, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but hey, you know, whatever bands want to do. I love Give Us a Wink. That was a great record, and the first album with Blockbuster and Little Willie.
Yeah.
Great
It's,
band, underrated band actually, as far as I'm concerned. And I never did see Sweet. They were probably just a little ahead of my time.
I saw them just before we went into full lockdown in the UK. They headlined Planet Rock's Winter's End, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Cool.
And in between the songs, Andy was talking about things from the 70s and groupies and stuff like that. You just think, wow, this is amazing.
That's cool. I love that stuff. Well, that's great. I love, you know, again, amazing band, super talented, you know. I mean, honestly, Motley Crue probably wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Sweet. If you ask Nikki Sixx, I'm sure he'll tell you that was a huge influence on him.
Yeah. When did you first start singing?
Was it it was right around that time. That same guy, David, he had this idea for doing a talent show band at our junior high. You know, we were all like probably 14, I'd say, 9th grade. And he goes, I want you to be the singer. And I was like, well, wow, me? Why? You know, and he's like, you know, you're kind of popular and you kind of have this lead singer aura to you. And I was like, okay. And so we ended up playing weird song. Well, Rock and Roll by Zeppelin, I guess that would be kind of an obvious one. But the other one was Feels Like the First Time from Foreigner, which is a little random, probably because it was popular at the time. Great band. I love Foreigner. I mean, Lou Gramm is an incredible singer. I love Lou Gramm. But I mean, we did it. It was great. The crowd loved it. I'm sure we probably sounded like crap. You know, we were 14 years old, but Joey was actually in that band playing guitar and a couple other people. But it was the first kind of test of being in a rock band, and it was amazing. You know, it was a cool experience, and that was the beginning. So.
When I was in school, me and my mates, we were going to form a band, and we used to interview each other with the old tape decks. You put the tape in, and we'd be asking each other questions, pretending we were like AC/DC or Kiss.
Cool. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it was great. Really great fun. Really great fun.
Yeah, I mean, all those, again, all those years and experience and times, I can't minimize the importance of all that, you know.
Yeah.
It was just, it was an amazing time for me to discover music, and I went into high school, and then that's when we met Gonzo and Phil. We knew Gonzo and Phil, but that's when we kind of formed a second version of that band and kind of the first version almost of Armored Saint, and it was cool.
Armored Saint briefly disbanded in 1992, and you had the sad death of Dave Pritchard. What got you back to reforming the band in 1999? Was there a specific reason you did it, or?
Well, it just kind of happened at that point. You know, Anthrax, we took a break after the album Sound of White Noise, Volume 8. Scott and Charlie had talked to Billy Milano about putting together a new SOD record. So they were going to do that, and we were going to just kind of be on a slight hiatus. So I think me and Joey just started chatting at that point, and he said, well, I have some song ideas. You want to mess around with them? And I said, yeah, let's take a listen. and then we ended up writing a couple of those songs that would become the songs on the record Revelation, which was the first Armored Saint record in a long time.
Yeah.
In between, if you will. And it was like, oh yeah, this sounds like Armored Saint. Oh, this sounds right. This sounds like we should do it. So we did. We went back to Metal Blade and we said, you know, can we make a record? And they're like, of course. And so we made a record in that downtime of Anthrax. And it was never the intention of actually for me to leave Anthrax. It just was like a break, if you will. And then we put out Revelation, and it was fun. We did some touring on it and had some fun dates, and then we kind of all went back to our same worlds, and mine and Anthrax, and then I ended up recording the record with We Came For You All, which was a really cool album, I think, as well for Anthrax. But you know, it was that break that we took that was probably on, realistically, I'd say 92 is when I left Armored Saint, like in around March, April. And then I can't be exactly sure when we started month-wise, but it was around 99 when we started messing around. Maybe even, yeah, probably 99, because we did a tour from 98 into 99 with Anthrax. So, and we wrote a couple songs like right away. After Me Comes the Flood, and you know, Pay Dirt, and I think Tension, and right away we were like, oh, this sounds cool. It sounds like, you know, that sounds like Saint, kind of modern version of it. And we also had a couple leftover tracks like What's Your Pleasure, and Upon My Departure, that we were able to couple with that. So, you know, we made another record, and I love that record. It's a cool album.
The very first time I saw Anthrax, you were the lead singer, and I was gobsmacked because I joined the army in '91, so a lot of the concerts I got to miss because of me being away on tour and all that.
Okay. Did
When
you ever go overseas, and were you ever in were you in warfare?
So the only non-hostile or the only hostile location I didn't serve at was Afghanistan. I spent 2 years in Iraq, a year of it working with the Department of Defense.
Oh, wow.
On Camp Slayer, just on, it was the Sneaky Beaky camp for the Brits and for the Americans. So,
what year was that?
2004.
Oh, so you were, yeah. So you must have seen some stuff then when you.
Yeah.
I'd like to interview you about that.
Anytime. It's funny enough.
I'm glad you came out of it okay. Let's say that.
I got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and injuries from my time in the military. But I used this to as a way to bring awareness to PTSD, and especially to soldiers which served in these countries. And so that's why I do this.
Well, metal, I'm sure, is very therapeutic for that stuff.
The most saddest thing which ever happened to myself out in Iraq, I was at the checkpoint with my dog, and it came over the radio that Dimebag Darrell had been killed, and I was a massive Pantera and Damage Plan fan, and it really hit me hard. And it was when he died, it's like the circumstances around it. I just thought I shouldn't be dealing with this. I didn't, although I never met Dimebag, it was as though it was like I shouldn't have to deal with this death of, to me, one of the greatest guitarists in metal. And it really hit me really hard, and it took a while for me to get over it because of being out there with all the
Right.
emotions
Right.
which is happening. The
Right.
last thing you wanted is like I was
Yeah.
listening to Damage Plan and then coming over the radio. It was hard, yeah, and
Well,
that's
and
one of that's
sorry.
one of the things.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Daryl's death was so violent. It wasn't.
Yeah,
I mean, not that. I mean, maybe if he like died in his sleep, or I don't know, something less violent. It was. I mean, it was about as violent as it gets,
yeah,
and tragic, and just insane. I
yeah,
remember when it happened. It was just unbelievable.
yeah,
So, on Dimebag, I toured with Pantera with Anthrax on a couple tours. I knew Dimebag from the '80s. He played on a couple of Anthrax records that I played on, and we just had a relationship. But it was just sad and tragic, and I could see how that would also bring into focus all the other stuff that you were experiencing at the same time
yeah,
that was violent as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent. I'll just say that the situation with Afghanistan, I know I don't think it was handled properly. I'll be the first to admit that. Although in all honesty, and you would know better than me because you were in the service, but I don't know if there was actually a proper way to really handle it. But you know what? We're done there. We're done. We just had to
yeah,
go, man. Like we got to go. We
yeah.
cannot be in these places for that
It,
long to try to convey to these people how they should live. Like it just
yeah, definitely. The only thing which I will say about it is that when you speak to an ex-soldier, there's you've got two takes on it. The one take is, well, that was a waste of all our time out there. But the majority of people said we give the Americans and the British, we give the people of Afghanistan a taste of what life should be like.
right.
And they went out, they were drinking coffee, they were and being
Living.
in yeah, they were living their lives. And that's one thing which every single soldier should take away from it, that it was never a waste. It
No, no, not at all. I mean, we're not going. We have to be honest. The Taliban is it's a regression. I mean, it's a
yeah,
regression of life. It just is. It always
yeah,
cracks me up that like these guys who want to have these medieval beliefs and they want to live like these, with these old, whether it's religious or whatever it is. Of course, a lot of it is religious, but these old religious beliefs, right?
yeah,
But they want to carry their AK-47s. They don't.
yeah,
Hey, when it comes to modern warfare, I want the best gun, right?
yeah,
But hey, man, that woman over there needs to wear a burqa. It's like, what a hypocrite! You want to
yeah,
live. You pick and choose when you want to live in the modern times. As far as I'm concerned, you should all be in horseback and with swords,
yeah,
and then no weapons, no guns. I mean, no bombs, none of that stuff. If you want to live according to this old philosophy,
yeah.
do it completely. But you're a
I,
hypocrite. You're a
I was,
hypocrite,
yeah, I
Yeah.
was an instructor for the Bahrain in, customs, and all the laws over in Saudi Arabia. All the people on the weekends would come from Saudi Arabia in their sports cars to come to Bahrain to drink and enjoy.
Of course.
Yeah, it's and you just used to think, what you're going back over to your country with all these strict rules, and you're coming over here to drink.
Well, that's because they don't want to live like that, but it's being
Yeah,
It's of course they don't want to. I mean, if
yeah,
you don't want to live with Sharia law, when you can drink and see hot-looking chicks in
yeah,
outfits. Come on, man, you're a person. You're exposed to
yeah,
this. Of course, you don't want to live in this oppressed world. So, I mean, I wish the luck for the Afghan people, but the truth of the matter is, everything in America right now is such a mess. The homeless situation in Los Angeles and many cities is dire. It's so bad. And so my thing is like, why are we spending millions of dollars in this place that like we need to put it here in this country because it's I want those people to live as well as they can, but people in America are living on the streets, man. They're like shitting on the streets and living in garbage. So I'm sorry, you got to fix this first before you can go and put all this money in these other countries. And a lot of them don't even want us there. Some do, some don't. The Taliban has a lot of support in Afghanistan. Whether we agree or disagree, it's true that some people want to live with this rule because they don't know any better. Not everybody, of course. But anyways,
it's definitely money needs to be spent in our own countries, and especially to get people off the streets. And especially children. Having children on the streets is a big no-no, and more money. But right, back to the music.
Okay, sorry.
It's all right. Punching the Sky, you released it last October. Was it difficult writing and recording and releasing the album during the pandemic?
Armored Saint in our history, and I'm not saying, oh, woe is me, but we've had some years and some moments of bad luck. Sometimes that's all I kind of say. I'm not complaining. I'm not really whining or anything. I'm just saying that sometimes we just had some bad luck. But we actually did it on this occasion. We were pretty fortunate where we didn't have to worry about like really some bad luck experiencing that. So we were fortunate on that end. When it came to making the record, we actually were just about finished with all the recording of it, believe it or not. We really were just entering the mixing mode at that point. We gave it to Jay Rustin, who ended up mixing the record. He mixed a lot of records. He mixes lots of records, and he's amazing, super talented guy. So we were actually fortunate. By the time we actually started recording, we were pretty much done at that point. So we just had to go into the mix mode. So we were, like I said, we were pretty fortunate to kind of miss that situation a little bit. But we were happy that when we were able to put out Punch in the Sky, and we believe it's an amazing album, and we're really proud of it. And it came out at a time that, I wish that it would be a little different, because obviously it came out in October, and all we did was this one live stream show, which is fun, but I don't need to do another one, in all honesty. But we haven't went out and toured and played these songs live, and I'm really looking forward to doing that, because we just haven't been able to do it yet. So hopefully sometime, we're doing 5 shows in December on the West Coast of America with Black Label Society with Zach Wild. So that's going to be killer, and Prong, as a matter of fact, too. And it'll be fun to do that, because we're playing like LA, San Francisco, Phoenix, San Diego, and Reno. So those shows will be killer, and I'm looking forward to that. And that'll kind of at least get the ball started of playing some gigs.
No, that's something which I'm really looking for. I watched the live stream, and I got used to them by then, because I was reviewing all the live streams which were happening, and it's just the most peculiar thing where there's just no crowd.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a necessary evil. We needed it, of course. And I only can speak on behalf of Saint. It was kind of like a combination of doing a video and then a rehearsal, but yet you still had to rock out, and you still were being filmed. I mean, we tried to make it as authentic as possible, and I'm sure everybody does. And obviously some people put a lot of money into it, others kind of make it down and dirty. But, and don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for the people who watched it and stuff. It's just, I don't want to do 10 live stream shows, I just want to, you know, I want to play in front of people. That's that's what we do.
Symbol of Salvation. It's actually coming out
Next
a
month.
year to the day. The Punching the Sky was released. I think it's the next day after.
Wow, that's funny. I don't even know that. But you could be right. It
Yeah,
was in October, so
yeah. It's I can't remember the exact date, but it's the next day after.
that's funny.
So it's
Cool.
like, yeah. I done my research.
Good. I didn't even know. I don't remember when the day was Punches the Sky came out, but I knew it was in
Yeah.
October.
Oh, I bought it. I bought Punch in the Sky because that was the one thing which I was doing. But since I've been doing this, my money's disintegrated because it's like, all
Sorry.
right, I'm gonna review this album. Oh my God, it's brilliant. Right, I need to order it. I want to get the special red colored or
Right.
blue colored vinyl.
Yeah.
But where was it recorded, and what made you decide on that exact concert to release it, or is it over a period?
Well, we filmed the several shows, and then we did the audio on pretty much all of the shows on that whole tour. You know, we would probably have preferred to make it be from Los Angeles because that's where we're from, and you know, we kind
Yeah,
of want to throw props to our local fans and pay tribute to our city that we love. But we couldn't do it in LA because they just wanted to charge us too much money to film it in the venue we were playing. So New York, it wasn't like second fiddle by any means. We were stoked to film that show and record it there because the Gramercy Theater is cool. It's an old theater and has a rad vibe to it.
yeah,
And the fans were awesome. You know, it was great. The only thing that probably was kind of lacking was the lighting a little bit. And so, and when we look back, we were like, we weren't super pleased with the way the lighting was. So that's why we said, let's put it in black and white and see what that looks like. And so we did, and it looks great. You know, it's like an
yeah.
old movie. So it actually gave it this kind of classic feel to it, and we were pleased with that in the end. Yeah, you know, like I said, we filmed a bunch of shows, but it's primarily from New York. There's a little bits and pieces from other places, but really mostly it's from the New York show. And it was a great gig, and it was a lot of fun to do that tour because you know, we played the record every night as a whole, and it just really kind of reiterated how great that album is and how diverse it is, and all the kind of peaks and valleys and different versions of, you know, different styles of songs. And you know, I love that record. It's kind of our cornerstone album, and it really kind of bridges our past or future, and it really determines that Armored Saint was his band that kind of pushes the boundaries. You know, we could do a song like Rain of Fire and Tribal Dance that are just, you know, thumpers, and then you got Last Train Home and Another Day, which are, you know, a little bit more epic and slow to a big crescendo. And so, I mean, I love that album. I'm real proud of it. And this live record sounds great. It came out awesome. And the DVD.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I know I'm reviewing it shortly. I'll be trying to review all the albums closer to the release date, so
Right.
that I'm not upsetting the record labels, because some record labels say no, you can't release it till this date. So
Great.
yeah. Apart from the tour which you just mentioned with Black Label Society, have you made any other plans for other locations like Australia or Central America?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can go to those places yet. I know Australia has been pretty clamped down. I feel like South America is still trying to grapple with how they're dealing with COVID. I don't know if bands are going there. I mean, it's even been hard for bands from America to go to the UK and Europe. So
yeah,
but you know, I'm optimistic that 22 is going to open that up a bit more. I'm sure there has been bands touring, but I know it's not been an easy thing. We have plans. We have another plan for the States in 22. I can't mention that tour yet because it hasn't been promoted and announced yet. So I don't want to be the first one to do that and get in trouble. But it'll be another really cool tour, I think, for fans, old schoolers in particular. And of course, we want to come to Europe. We love Britain and we love Europe, and there's still a lot of places that Armored Saints never really even properly played in Europe, believe it or not. Like we've never really done the Scandinavian cities like Sweden and Finland and Norway and Denmark, and
Yeah.
we've never really like played Portugal, and we've never really even done a proper tour of Spain and France. So there's a lot of places that we still have yet to play, let alone going back to favorites like the places like London and Manchester and Hamburg and Frankfurt and stuff. So and Holland and Belgium, these are places that are we feel a close kinship with. So we have a lot of work to do, and we want to play these places. And I'd love to go back to Japan because we've only done one show in the history of the band in Japan too. But again, that's been a place that still grappling with how they're dealing with COVID. So,
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. I got my fingers crossed that things are going to improve. It's a lot of it's out of my hands, obviously, but
Yeah.
we're going to stay positive.
Well, I did have one other question, but that was about the UK, so forget about that.
Oh, wait, I'm coming. Okay.
Finally, do you think Armored Saint would ever go out on tour with Anthrax in the future?
I think it would be a great tour for Saint, for sure. We never played together back in the day. There was always this rumor that Armored Saint was being considered for the Among the Living tour of Europe back then. And I think we had Raising Fear out at that time. I think Testament ended up doing it, if my memory serves me correctly, and I don't really remember that well because I wasn't there. But yeah, it would be great. I'd love to do that. It'd be fun. It'd be, like I said, be good for Saint. I think it would be a cool thing for fans. I think we've, enough time has elapsed, and I think that would be something that people would embrace and the bands would embrace. So
Yeah,
it's a possibility one day. You never know. At least we've done a couple of festivals where we both were on the same bill, but we've never actually went and did a tour together. But it would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic speaking to you. Like I say, Anthrax was a massive band for me, and you was the lead singer of my very first time seeing them in Cardiff. So,
Cardiff, awesome.
And I am so looking forward to seeing Armored Saint. It's something which I've been waiting for such a long time, especially in the UK, with in between my escapades overseas.
Well,
So,
I'm glad you're you're in one piece and healthy and all that stuff, and we'll be there eventually. And thank you very much for all the support that you've given us, and enjoy those records. Let it be a cathartic, healing for you. And
definitely.
And you can get angry listening to metal, and it's good exercise, mentally and physically.
It got me. It got my adrenaline going every time I was leaving the camp. I would either listen to Kill Fuck Die by Wasp.
That's great.
Something like that, which would really get me going and keep my adrenaline up.
That's awesome. Well, stay safe over there in Britain, and again, thanks for the support, and we'll hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot wait to come and see you once again.
You're going to a show tonight, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Massive Wagons. It's
cool.
They're playing Cardiff, so
Great.
I'm photographing it and reviewing it. So
great. All right, well, have a great time tonight. Have fun.
Thank you, and it's been a pleasure.
All right, well, likewise. We'll see you hopefully in 22.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Michael.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.